What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, back from AmFest, hoping I don't get sick. I went through about 3 bottles of hand antibacterial, doing everything I could to not get sick over the holiday. We'll see. I feel there is a intense battle going on, and that's not just with the waistband of my pants. It was an incredible event, but it's Monday. We got to get back into the news. And it looks like at least several politicians are pushing for Pam Bondi to be impeached and face charges. And I've got to be honest with you, I support it. Do I think Pam Bondi was the one that had the final say on what would and what wouldn't be redacted in those files? No, I don't. I think it came from the swamp. Right? It came from above her head. She's just a figurehead. But symbolically, if you allow her to keep her position after this absolute disaster, not only are you telling us that, someone larger is in charge, which most people already assume, but you're telling us that you don't care that we're pissed off about it. The files that were released were an absolute joke. I know that the Main Street is probably not as interested in these files as kind of the online, the online news readers, my viewers, Tim's viewers, everybody else out there. They're not talking about this. They're probably like, did you see those files came out? Okay, well, how about that local sports team? But I think Donald Trump must fire Pam Bondi or she must be impeached. I think Donald Trump should fire her first. He has defended her at every turn of disappointment of the American people with the job she's done. She's been in office plenty of time. She's been there a year now, and she has delivered nothing. Yeah. You arrest this person, you arrest that person. You're charging... Well, Letitia James with some mortgage, fudging her paperwork on her mortgage. Nobody cares about that. She's not going to jail for that. This is not what we voted for. And Donald Trump must fire her immediately. Lest I think it looks worse for Donald Trump if she gets impeached. I just think it does. Leave a like if you agree. The Department of Justice forced into the Jeffrey files U-turn after Trump photos vanished as Pam Bondi is warned she faces charges. The Department of Justice was forced into a U-turn on its release of the documents related to Jeffrey back on Friday after a photo of President Donald Trump was temporarily removed from the files, which they never should have done. When you're talking about people that want these files out, we don't care if Donald Trump's in them or not. I don't believe that he did anything wrong. But I 100% believe he was in that circle. He was rich. It was the 90s. We obviously knew he knew Jeffrey. I don't care if he hung out with the guy. I care if he, spent time with kids. Pretty simple, right? So the photo is just a picture of him and what looks like Jelaine. I feel like this picture was already made public. The only picture I've seen of him is with adults. It's a literal nothing burger. I don't care. Yeah, the Democrats will pretend, oh my God, Trump's in there. I don't care if I don't even care if he's at the island. Doesn't matter to me. I care if he was participating in, the bad stuff. If it turns out he was at the island, who cares? Were you diddling or were you not diddling? If you weren't diddling, I don't care. I don't even care if you're cheating on your wife. I don't care. The missing photo depicted Trump alongside Melania, Jeffrey, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, so what? Why even redact that, dude? That's a huge mistake. Just put it out there. Everyone knows you guys knew each other. Why even bother redacting that? It makes no sense. It just makes you look guilty. It was taken in February 2000 at Mar-a-Lago Estate and was one of the few photos in which the president even appeared in the documents as federal agents raided Jeffrey's New York City townhouse. Another photo was from Jeffrey's open desk drawer, showing him posing with 4 women in swimwear, all of age. The photograph in both images are now once again included in the files, and the DOJ announced Sunday following the accusations of a cover-up. The Southern District of New York, which is garbage corruption, it's really ground zero for corruption, flagged an image of the president for potential further action to protect victims. The department explained on social media. Out of an abundance of caution, the Department of Justice temporarily removed the images after further review. After review, it was determined that no evidence that any of these people needed to be protected, so they put the photo back out. And there was nothing wrong with the photo, but the fact that you withheld it is all the Democrats need to run for another freaking week on this. Still, Representatives Ro Khanna, a Democrat from California, and Thomas Massie, a Republican from Kentucky, announced Sunday that they are speaking with their fellow members of Congress about holding Attorney General Pam Bondi in contempt. They claimed that this is the best way to hold the Justice Department accountable for its failure to release all eligible files related to Jeffrey's crimes by Friday's deadline. They had a deadline on Friday in which they were supposed to release these things, and they did not do it. I 110% support charges against Pam Bondi. I would support her immediate removal from this position too. Here's the thing. Here's a hard truth. I don't think my viewers would probably really disagree too hard here, but Trump sucks at appointing people. He always has. He did in 2016. He appointed a bunch of snakes, and then in 2024 he did it again. Dan Bongino, I believe he did the best he could. I'm not letting him off the hook, but I think that's why he bailed. He's like, I can't do anything here. The system's too corrupt. I got to get out of here. Kash Patel has done horribly bad at his job. Horribly bad. Remember when he said, I'm going to turn the FBI headquarters into a museum on day one? He's done nothing but grow the FBI. He hasn't gone after any of the agents that harass these families for J6 or the Mar-a-Lago raid or any of this. He's done nothing. And it's been a year, okay? So he's out of time. He should go. Pam Bondi, I think more people universally agree is terrible. She's more interested in talking about restricting our speech, my hate speech laws, and making Fox News appearances than doing what she promised. I didn't make these demands. They made the promises. They said that they were going to release the Jeffrey files. I didn't say they had to do it to get the job. They did. They said they were going to go after corrupt FBI agents that harass moms and dads who were going to school board meetings and going. I didn't say that. They said that. They said they were going to turn the FBI into a museum on day one. I didn't demand that. They said that. Pam Bondi got her job with the expressed purpose of going after these corrupt Democrats who use lawfare against Donald Trump. She has failed to do that. People said, Jeremy, give her time, that these things take time. It's been a year. We have another year. That's it. All the trending data right now says that Republicans have a very uphill battle for the midterms. I'm going to do everything I can in Wisconsin to get people remotivated and get out and vote. Because I'll tell you what, it's really easy to blame a lot of the discontent on X on bots and foreigners. And believe me, they're a good chunk of it. I would argue more than 60% of the interactions and tweets and stuff like that are either from Democrats stirring the pot or, but we need everybody back on the same page to win at the midterms. Not, this whole coalitional purity testing means we're going to lose the midterms. I really don't care when Megyn Kelly or Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens are all saying, although Candace told you not to vote, so I do care. I strongly disagree with her that. She can fool around with the TPUSA stuff all she wants. Please don't tell your viewers not to vote. There's a very real problem with confidence in our leadership right now in this country, and that is palpable on places like X, in the comment sections. And quite frankly, if Donald Trump doesn't roll some heads, I think that will be far more damaging than the Jeffrey files, than this debacle, right? He's got to replace Kash Patel. He's got to get rid of Pam Bondi. Dan Bongino self-selected to get out. and he has to get stuff actually done. People are talking about, why will the Republicans lose at the midterms? It's still going to be the economy. Gas has come down. I will give them that. Groceries, I don't know about you. You'd have to let me know in the comment section, but groceries don't feel like they've come down much. Certainly meat hasn't. Steaks and stuff like that hasn't come down. My wife does the grocery shopping, so she would track it better than I would week to week, but Pam Bondi needs to be impeached and removed. I want to give people like the benefit of the doubt, and I don't want to, take personal shots, but she has been a unmitigated disaster. And if Trump does not remove her, it's going to affect poorly on him.
What are you going to do about it to force them to comply? I mean, can you do anything?
Oh, absolutely. Look, people have talked about, and by the way, Todd Blanche is the face of this, but it's really the Attorney General's office, Pam Bondi, who is responsible. And there are several ways to get at this. Some take longer, some are shorter. The quickest way, and I think most expeditious way to get justice for these victims is to bring inherent contempt against Pam Bondi.
Yes.
And that doesn't require going through the courts. And give her, and basically Rokan and I are talking about, and
I think that basically means she gets like a fine every day.
Drafting that right now.
I think that basically means she gets like a fine every day. Now, I don't know if she gets a personal fine or how that really works, but I think the best way for Trump to handle this would be to immediately remove her. You've got to turn the page, try to get, I don't know, Matt Gaetz probably won't happen, but you need to get somebody in there who's going to be more ferocious and get stuff done. We might only have another year before we get to face Trump being impeached nonstop for the last 2 years of his presidency. He's got to make changes now. He's got to just say, look, maybe he really loves Pam as a person, but he's got to cut her because he's going to drag her down. It's an absolute anchor. Let me know what you think in the comment sections down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.